Welcome to the Health Headliner podcast by Tudu Digital. Our content is informational only and not medical advice. Please consult your provider. Now, let's dive into today's headlines.
Imagine, just for a moment, children facing relentless infections right from the start, their own bodies unable to fight back properly. It's a tough reality for families dealing with something called severe leukocyte adhesion deficiency type 1, or LADI. But now there's some really promising news from a clinical trial, a potential one-time treatment that might just change everything for these kids. Today, we're diving deep into this investigational gene therapy. We're looking at a health news piece from UCLA dated April 30, 2025, and also a key paper in the New England Journal of Medicine from 2025. It's titled Lentiviral Gene Therapy for Severe Leukocyte Adhesion Deficiency Type 1. Our goal here is to really understand how this therapy works, what it meant for the children in the trial, and what this could signify for treating other rare genetic diseases down the line.
Yeah, it's fascinating because this therapy goes right to the heart of the problem in severe LADI. It's a genetic condition, pretty rare, maybe 1 in a million people worldwide. And it all stems from mutations in the gene that's supposed to make a protein called CD18.
CD18, okay, and what does that protein normally do?
Well, think of CD18 as like a crucial piece of equipment on the surface of white blood cells, almost like Velcro maybe. It lets them grab onto the walls of blood vessels near an infection and then squeeze through into the tissues to actually fight it off.
Okay. So without that CD18 working right, the body's defenders, the white blood cells, they just can't get to the scene of the crime, so to speak.
Exactly. They're essentially stuck, unable to reach the infection site. And the consequences, as that news article really emphasized, are devastating. We're talking recurrent, really dangerous bacterial and fungal infections, often starting when they're just infants.
That sounds incredibly difficult. The article mentioned survival beyond childhood was rare without treatment. And things like skin problems and really inflamed gums are common signs.
That's right, those are hallmarks. And historically, the main treatment option has been a bone marrow transplant.
Right, from a matched donor.
Yes, trying to replace the patient's faulty blood stem cells with healthy ones. But finding a suitable donor, a good match, that can be really hard. And even when you do, there are serious risks involved. Things like graft versus host disease, where the donor cells actually attack the patient's body. It's a major hurdle.
So it's definitely not a simple solution. Which brings us to this new approach, this investigational gene therapy from Rocket Pharmaceuticals. It sounds like a completely different angle. Instead of a donor, it fixes the patient's own cells.
Precisely. The core idea is genetic correction. You take the patient's own blood-producing stem cells and essentially fix the faulty gene within them. So the patient becomes their own donor, in a way.
How does that actually work? How do they fix the gene?
So the scientific paper explains the process. First, they collect blood stem cells from the child. Then they use something called a lentiviral vector. Now, lentiviral vector sounds complex, but you can think of it as a delivery truck.
Okay, a delivery truck.
A highly modified, safe virus that's been engineered specifically to carry genetic material into cells. It's designed not to cause disease itself. And its cargo, in this case, is a working functional copy of that crucial gene, the one that codes for the CD18 protein.
Got it. So the delivery truck carries the correct instructions into the patient's stem cells. And then what?
Then, those corrected stem cells are infused back into the patient. The goal, the hope, is that these modified stem cells will settle back into the bone marrow, multiply, and start producing healthy immune cells, white blood cells that can make functional CD18.
And these new cells would then be able to travel to infections.
That's the idea. They'd be able to stick to the blood vessel walls, migrate out, and effectively fight off bacteria and fungi. Basically, restore that missing immune function.
Okay, so let's talk about the trial itself. The news article mentioned it was an international effort.
Yes, co-led by UCLA. It involved 9 children with the severe form of LADI. Their ages range from just 5 months up to 9 years old. And the trial took place across 3 major centers: UCLA Mattel Children's Hospital here in the U.S., Great Ormond Street Hospital in London, GOSH, and the Hospital Infantil Universitario Niño Jesus in Madrid.
That collaboration sounds key, especially for such a rare disease. And the article mentioned the lead researchers.
It did. Dr. Donald Cohen at UCLA was the senior author on the New England Journal paper. And the co-lead authors were Dr. Claire Booth from GOSH in London and Dr. Julian Sevilla in Madrid, a real team effort across continents.
So the big question, What were the results? The article seemed incredibly positive.
They were truly remarkable, based on the findings reported by Dr. Cohen and published in the journal. All 9 children responded positively to the therapy, every single one.
All 9.
Yes. And they're now living without the typical symptoms of the disease. Those skin lesions, the severe gum inflammation, those resolved. And crucially, their ability to fight off infections is now looking much more like that of children with healthy immune systems. It's a huge turnaround.
That's incredible. Did the paper give more specifics on, say, the protein levels or cell counts?
It did. It reported sufficient levels of that key CD18 protein being expressed on the immune cells after the therapy. Their white blood cell counts also normalized, which points towards a healthier overall immune system. And maybe the most impactful finding for the families, a significant drop in severe infections needing hospitalization. That's a real quality of life improvement.
And what about safety? Gene therapies sometimes raise concerns about side effects.
That's another really encouraging part of the story. The researchers reported no serious adverse events directly linked to the gene therapy itself. And importantly, no issues with the body rejecting the modified cells, what's called graft failure, or any dangerous immune reactions against the corrected cells. That compares very favorably to the risks with transplants.
That lack of graft versus host disease risk seems like a major advantage.
Absolutely. It removes one of the biggest worries associated with traditional transplants. Like Dr. Cohen put it in the news piece, these children are no longer defined by their diagnosis. That really hits home, doesn't it?
It really does. It suggests a whole new lease on life, freedom from constant hospital visits, the ability to just be kids.
Exactly. Thriving instead of just surviving.
And this success, does it have implications beyond just LADI? Dr. Cohen seemed to suggest so.
Yes, he highlighted that these results really underscore the potential for gene therapy more broadly. It shows that this approach, correcting the patient's own stem cells, could offer durable, life-changing benefits for people with other rare genetic disorders too.
So this could be a model, perhaps, for tackling other conditions caused by single gene defects.
It certainly strengthens the case. It's evidence that if you can precisely target the underlying genetic cause within the right cells, you can potentially achieve a long-lasting, perhaps even curative effect. It's a move towards truly personalized, fundamental repair.
Where does the therapy stand now in terms of becoming available? The news article mentioned the FDA.
That's right. The therapy is currently under review by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. They're evaluating a biologics license application. If that's successful, it would clear the path for this treatment to become available to more children with severe LADI.
That would be fantastic news. Dr. Booth from London was quoted calling it a momentous breakthrough.
She was, and she emphasized how it offers a new path forward that could reduce the huge burdens and risks these patients and their families face. It really signals a shift in possibilities for these rare immune conditions.
Of course, with any new therapy, especially based on an initial trial, we need to consider the limitations, right?
Definitely. And the sources acknowledge this. First, the sample size is small, 9 patients. That's understandable given how rare LADI is, but it's still a small number to draw definitive broad conclusions from. More data will always be helpful.
Makes sense. And the follow-up time. The results sound amazing, but how long have they been tracked?
The main reported outcomes are based on data collected over 2 years post-treatment. Now, 2 years is significant, especially seeing such positive changes. But for a lifelong genetic condition, you really want to know about the long-term picture.
So is there longer-term monitoring planned?
Yes. The news article mentioned that 6 of the 9 children are enrolled in a long-term follow-up study at UCLA. They'll be monitored for 15 years in total. This is crucial for understanding the durability will the benefits last, and for watching out for any potential late-emerging safety issues. It shows a real commitment to understanding the full impact.
That long-term follow-up seems essential. But overall, reading the articles, the expert opinion seems overwhelmingly positive.
It really does. You have Dr. Cohen highlighting the consistent benefits and the potential for other diseases, Dr. Booth calling it a breakthrough. And Dr. Sevilla's role as co-lead author from the Madrid site implies agreement on the positive results observed there too. There seems to be strong consensus among the leaders in the field who conducted the trial.
It feels like more than just a successful trial. It feels like a proof of concept with profound human impact.
I think that's fair to say. It's this convergence of, really advanced science, the lentiviral vectors, the gene correction, with the potential to fundamentally change a child's life trajectory, giving them a chance at a normal, healthy childhood, which was almost unthinkable before for this condition.
It really makes you think. If this gene therapy works so well for LADI, what's next? What other genetic disorders might be treatable this way in the near future? This deep dive really opens up a window onto that possibility. But it also raises questions, doesn't it, about access, about the ethics of these powerful tools.
Absolutely. The science is moving incredibly fast. Ensuring these breakthroughs translate into accessible treatments for everyone who needs them, that's the next big challenge.
A hopeful prospect, though. Seeing science offer this kind of transformation, it's genuinely exciting. A future where maybe these conditions don't have to define a life, that's something worth exploring further.
Thanks for tuning in to the Health Headliner podcast by To Digital. Like and subscribe for more health news and breakthroughs. Stay healthy and informed. See you next time.